Fix on Me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Fix on Me podcast. And my guest today is my bro, Darnell. What's going on, man?
What up, y'all? What up, man?
I know it's kind of weird with the profile type of look,
good.
but you know.
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You saw the setup, so you understand why. I would be explaining to certain people, eventually.
Yeah.
But I told you about this podcast a while back, Darnell, and then this episode we're gonna talk about the importance of being vulnerable. We know being vulnerable with our spouses is one thing, but I feel like being vulnerable with each other, like with other men, it's important. So how do you feel about that?
About being vulnerable with other men?
Yeah.
I think that is very important because just for the simple fact of like a lot of people not growing up with fathers and stuff like that, so you don't get taught how to be that way, you know what I'm saying? Or you getting taught by your mother and all she knows is like, I don't, just for the sake of word, I don't want no soft son. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they don't really teach you what you really need, you know what I'm saying, to be taught. So I feel like being vulnerable with other men can help actually, like a lot of the stuff that we dealing with. A lot of the stuff we dealing with is emotions. Yeah. We don't know how to control them, you know what I'm saying? So that's why you got killing, that's why you got shootings and fighting, all that stuff. But I think being vulnerable will cure all of that stuff in a lot of ways. Yeah.
So if I hear you correctly, I feel like you're saying being vulnerable with other men brings like growth and healing at the same time, and development, which is the same thing, falls in the same category. But the main reason I have you in this episode is because this episode is about community.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So me and you have been a part of a community for the past probably, I would say like a year now.
Yeah, a year or some change.
And we have been very vulnerable in that community.
Yeah.
So just explain your thoughts on how is that important for men to have community and be able to be vulnerable in that community.
Yeah, man. So just to break down, we are part of a men group. I'm pretty sure he already told y'all about it.
Yeah, most of the guys I've had on
talk
here
about it, you know what I'm saying?
Group.
One of them is the leader of it. Shout out to Brian, man. But what I love about this group is that we ain't knew each other forever, you know what I'm saying? We all go to the same church home and stuff like that. So we got to a place where everybody came together and we start learning each other, but most of all, people just start being vulnerable. And it's good to hear people being vulnerable that you really don't know all the way. Like you ain't been knowing them for 10 years or 12, all your life, stuff like that. So I think for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but my perspective of it was just being able to be like, dang, man, this dude come from a different total walk of life than I do, but he is dealing with the same certain things in marriage or just dealing within himself and trying to get past all of the things that he have went through. And kind of what helps me is to know, like, not saying you ain't, like, I'm not special, but it's just one of those things where it's like we all in it together, so we can help each other, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we hold each other down for sure.
And accountability.
There's been moments where there's still some guys that are working on the vulnerability part of things, but the ones that are open, when we start sharing stuff, it just like causes the whole environment to shift.
Most definitely.
And I feel like our bond has got stronger because of it. I know me and you have gone stronger. Brian, I would say Rob too. He's in the group as well.
Yeah.
Rick is joining us too. And I'm going to say this disclaimer. If y'all see my dog come into frame, I apologize in advance. This is how we get down in this podcast. We just tell y'all what's going to might happen.
It is what it is.
Because it is what it is. But yeah, man, I really appreciate what we have going on with that group. Regarding the group, I don't know if before we had the group, was it challenging for you to be able to just connect with men?
Not really. It was just all about it. No, it wasn't hard for me to connect with men because, like I said, some of us have the not the excuse, but some of us have the path of like not being around a lot of men, so you don't know how to navigate around men. But the thing about me was that like even though I didn't have my father in my life, like he was gone more than that he was there, and we never stayed with each other. So, but what I want to say is about that is even though I didn't have my dad like accurately always around, God always placed me around other men. So like my dad wasn't there, but my papa was.
Got it.
When my papa died, moved to LA because I was in Compton, so moved to LA, South Central, and then now I'm a part of the streets. So now you got other men. Then I was my, just trying to basically navigate. My mom wanted me to be a part of something special. So Sonic, she wanted me to be a part of something. Well, actually, the real truth was I was doing probation. So I had probation, so I had to do community service.
Yeah.
So within that, she was like, "You're gonna go to the sheriff department and do community service," but they had a boxing program. So she was just like, "You gonna box?" Or no, she didn't say I was gonna box, but I was like, "I'm gonna do something while I'm there." So I just started boxing, but I'm around other men. So after that, in between that, I'm in the streets, so I'm around men. It's just that, so it was never like I don't know how to act. I just don't like weirdness, so I don't like people that's weird. Yeah, it's like if you weird, not like that, but it's just like you got some individuals that are awkward. Not to call them weird, but they just awkward. So it's kind of like, dang, why you got to be like that? So you kind of don't feel led to be around them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not me. For me, I was not uncomfortable being around men. It was just like if you acting weird, then I'd rather not be around you.
That makes sense because I think I'm the same way. I'm very particular when I choose who I'm gonna hang around with, who I want to be around with.
Yeah.
I remember the group that we have now was getting really defensive at one point because they were just letting in just guys coming in left and right, and I was just like, hold on.
Yeah.
Like I don't know these guys. You know, I had to like tell some folks, but then I got comfortable with it. But I feel so. You always had that type of community. Then do you think it was because of the sports? You said you were in boxing,
play sports.
So you always had that community of other.
Yeah,
like men around you the same age as you, and then always had that older role model in front.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like God orchestrated this thing, like in a great way. Even before I moved to LA, I was in Compton. That's when I caught my first case. But I was 10 years old. But the friend group that I had, it was amongst boys and girls, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like I call myself a lone wolf only because. I've always had that mentality is like of not like, oh, it's gonna be a group of us. I just knew like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it by myself. So like that's where my lone wolf like I guess attribute come from, because I never looked at even in the team sport, like it was just one of those things where I gotta make sure I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about doing what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I think now I see the bigger picture of like the acronym of team is together, everyone achieves more. Now I'm looking at it as, okay, it's a team thing. We all need each other instead of just it's me, because I can't really make a lot of things move by myself unless I got brothers that I can link arms with and we can do it together. You get what I'm saying? So,
like-minded brothers.
Yeah,
it's not just linking up with a certain people. It's like-minded brothers, because you can link up with other people and they won't do nothing.
Yep.
I'm gonna let y'all know right now.
On everything.
But yeah, it's like-minded individuals, and speaking about linking up, I used to be a very lone wolf myself, so I can definitely understand that part. So why is it that you feel like men particularly go into the lone wolf part before they even find a community? Because I'm 36. It took me a long time to find community.
You got a lot of people that are being rejected. You got a lot of people, abandonment. You got a lot of things that I can think about. A lot of things like I could have had that reason. I could have had that. Like I felt it too. Like even when I didn't have because my mom and my dad wasn't around because they both was on drugs. So I could have been like, man, they left me, because that's how my little sister and my little brother felt. It's 4 of us. So it's one of those things where like they felt like, oh, they is abandoned, but it was like for me, I had comfort in like, well, I got people that's taking care of me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? My papa and my auntie was there. They also let me know, like, I'm not your mom and we not your mom and your dad. You got a mom and a dad. We just taking care of you. You know, like we your aunt and your uncle.
Yeah.
So that just gave me comfort. And, you know, my uncle just being a father figure, like, you know, authoritative and all that stuff, just taking care of people, taking care of the household. It gave me a comfort in just not having to feel that way. Now when I moved with my mom, it kind of brung back to like, dang, why my dad act weird, like why he not around, you know what I'm saying? But then I had to really do my own research, and I got a brother that's doing it like 166 years.
Wow.
But it's one of those things where like none of my brothers and sisters on my dad's side ever felt like he was a great dad as well. So it was just him. It wasn't not saying him, but you know, it's something that he was dealing with. So it's not like, oh, he abandoned me on purpose. It was just that he
was dealing with
he's just
the
like my
stuff he had to
mom.
deal.
Yeah, I remember visiting my mom in jail. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where it's like I had that feeling like, oh, I'm never gonna forgive you. But at the end of the day, it's like we human. You know what I'm saying? We all mess up.
They are human.
We human. So just my bad. Just to go back to
your
your
mom
question.
is great.
Yeah, my mom.
I met your mom.
Yep. You
Your
recorded
mom
my
is
mom.
good. Yeah, your mom is great. That episode was good too.
Yeah, man. I can't wait till that come out. But I do want to say that going back to what you said, like, what's the reason? It is a lot of the abandonment and just
Stuff
feeling
that people are
abandonment.
basically
Yeah.
internally dealing with.
Yeah.
I can say that because I dealt with abandonment issues. So I think that was a reason why I was very particular when it came to choosing who I hung around with. I've always been that way, like, you know, and I think it was because I was also trying to be careful, even though I grew up in the, you know, I grew up in Watts, I grew up in the projects, I grew up also in East LA, also project area. Most of my friends, I make sure that they were not even like gang members or that, you know, just type of that street life. Like I had friends, but they weren't, like I said, I was very particular. We had very similar things. Like we like, I was a geeky kid. I like anime, you know, like anime, Power Rangers, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to the park and just fool around. Don't get me wrong. We did bad things, but I wasn't running around with the back crew.
Yeah. I feel you.
If that makes sense. But, to keep the podcast going, so when it comes to community, and I feel like me and you have had pretty good conversations sometimes, in the group and then away from the group. But can you just share like what having the community of the men that you have now, how has helped you? Which I'm pretty sure you answered it before already, but how it's helping you, like shaping you a little bit, especially because you recently married.
Yeah, I was about
you
to
know
say.
what I'm saying? Like you can share. Can you be vulnerable in that space for a second?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was just, as you was asking, I'm like, well, for one, you know, in the aspect of marriage, man, like you are a big part of that. Brian is a big part of that. Also, Darius is a big part of that. It's three of y'all, man, and just having the community to help. Like Darius is on 3 years now, married.
I think so. Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah, because we got 11,
and then Brian just made 10, right? So it's just one of those things where it's like y'all. Well, you and Brian are kind of like in that same like upper echelon, not upper echelon, because you know you got 20, 30 years married, but to me y'all are a decade ahead of me in marriage, and then you got Darius, which is 3 years, and me and Destiny we just reached a year. You know what I'm saying? So I think
congratulations on the year, Daz.
Appreciate that. My wife is behind the camera. But yeah, no. So I just want to say that you guys helped me so much, because just being open, like for I'm gonna speak to y'all in a list. So starting with you helped me with finances. Like you helped me, hey man, like, because Destiny is financial literate. So with you the same way, and it's just like, hey man, you might want to be looking into real estate. You might, you know, this and this and that.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about tour. We talk about all type of stuff. With Brian, he showed like this marriage thing is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not pillows and cupcakes. Like
Yeah,
I done
that's the
seen
thing. Those are the
arguments.
conversations that we mostly have.
You
Like
know
it's
what I'm
not. What did I say? I say it's not sunshines and rainbows all the time.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like with him, like I done seen them argue, and it's not like they are F you F. No, it's not. Nah, it's not that at all. It's like just disagreements, but people act like you cannot disagree.
Right, when you're married.
When you married, and
that's
it's
false.
Exactly. You don't want to suppress things. That's what I really learned. You don't want to suppress things. You want to make sure you talk. And Ebenezer, shout out to Ebenezer too.
Yeah.
But you don't want to suppress things. You don't want to just navigate around things. As a man, you got to be assertive. You got to be. It's a lot of things that y'all teach, that y'all have like helped me with. And then also with Darius. Darius, he's very particular because he's more on the optimistic side, but he's also don't get me wrong, D. I'm not gonna look. You from Chirac. You feel me? I ain't gonna. What I'm about to say, I ain't trying to make you look soft, but he comes from how he navigates with Noah and Stevie.
Yeah.
In my eyes, he tries to come from a softer standpoint with them. But that doesn't negate the fact that I know that they have their issues as well. You get what I'm saying? So. But the fact that they work through them, they talk through them, and it's like solution based.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I learn things from each and every one of you guys, and that's what's so important to me in this group, because before the group, individually, I had them. You know what I'm saying? Like Darius was first when they was just in a relationship. Brian came after that, and then I made a relationship with Angel, especially me and him being from the same place. So I think
we're neighbors,
literally, like, you know what I'm saying, literally walk across the street, right? But it's one of those things where it started like that, and then now with this group that we have now is expanding. Yeah. So it's good to see other men do the same thing that we're doing, or how we started off. So yeah, if that answered your question.
No, it did, and it highlighted different things, because you showed how we pour into you different ways, and you're right. If you can't be vulnerable about your marriage when it comes, especially he's still new to me. He's still new, barely a year. That's still new, So when he asks questions, if we're not vulnerable about it, what is he gonna learn from it? Like, I know for me and my wife, it was the first couple of years. It was it was like the sunshine and rainbows thing, honeymoon phase, what they call it, right? And then as the years progressed, we started noticing little things that I would do that would irritate her, and little things that she would do that would irritate me, and we had to really like talk it out. You know what I'm saying? And once we got past 7 years, that's when it got easier. Let me just say that. There's actually supposedly a proven study that most people only last 7 years, and and if you get past over the 7 years, that's when you do more. Yeah, but you're always gonna encounter something after 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Even though we have 11 years, we still have things we got to we navigate, and we navigate it together. You know what I'm saying? We know our love language. We learn that. We learn the communication language, because everybody has individual communication languages. It's not the same. Yeah. Like, I communicate a certain way, my wife communicates a certain way. Same thing with Darnell and Destiny. They might communicate, they might have similarities, but at the same time, they understand differently. So that's understanding each other's communication. So when people always talk about communication, love language, it's particularly learning what that individual, the person that you're with, how they interpret communication and love language. So you have to be open to learn that style. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. We're even pouring into Sammy. I don't know if he's gonna watch this, but he's he just got engaged. So we've been pouring into him, and the communication thing is one of the ones that we always talk to him about. Because they have they're new. They're new into it. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you. I'm new to this, so sorry if it's all good. I'm not usually in front of the camera, but I appreciate being on here, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I got love for you and Dez, you know what I'm saying? And you guys are always welcome.
Yep.
come over here and hang out.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm serious because y'all don't really hang out all the time over here.
Man,
Either
we
y'all
tryna get
busy
to
working
it.
or
We
I
tryna
don't know what
get
y'all
to
doing.
it.
But no,
We trying to get to it, man. Shout out to Destiny though, man. She about to go. You talking about she about to be gone for a whole month.
oh, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do, bro?
Exactly.
That's
Well, I gotta
good.
take some of her gigs. I'm gonna be working.
You'll be fine.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
man.
You got your bros. We'll
Yep.
hold you down. You know. So
Appreciate
thanks,
that.
man. Thanks for being on.
Appreciate you.
All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.